These big companies bought these pieces of land that were written off and have probably like the jizz of 1,000 ghosts.
Hey, what's up everyone? Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse, and today I want to talk about a documentary titled 42nd Street Memories, The Rise and Fall of America's Most Notorious Street. What got me into Grindhouse cinema in the late aughts was my first trip to Austin, Texas back in 2008 for South by Southwest, where I had my first Alamo Drafthouse experience. If you've seen a movie at the Alamo Drafthouse, you know there's always a pre-show they attach to the movie you're there to see. It's a mix of rare trailers, weird TV commercials, music videos, could be a guest starring role from an old TV show the star of the movie you're about to see was in, and seeing that pre-show awoke something in me, which led me to purchase a lot of movie trailer compilations of 60s, 70s, 80s exploitation, blaxploitation, horror, Italian cinema to see what I had missed out on and what I could get my hands on. I actually did an entire collection video on those compilations, link in the description, which also led me to watching a lot of documentaries on exploitation and Grindhouse cinema, and I wanted to start reviewing all those that got me into it all. One of the first I saw was 42nd Street Memories, written and directed by Calum Waddell. This documentary was shot in 2011 but released in 2015. It's about New York's 42nd Street, located between 7th and 8th Avenue in Midtown Manhattan, which rows of movie theaters, about a dozen of them across the street from each other, offered screening of all the sleazy movies you enjoyed from that era. In it, you'll see actors, directors, film distributors, and producers, authors, film historians, talking about their first-hand experience going to see a movie on the Deuce. There's no narration, just cutting from one testimonial to another, letting us know about the crazy shit they experienced. 19 talking heads in all, more than half directors whose movies have played on 42nd Street. People like Hennenlotter, Richard W. Haines, Dante, Larry Cohen, Matt Cimber, William Lustig, Buddy Giovinazzo, Tom Holland, Lloyd Kaufman, Greydon Clark, and Jeff Lieberman. Actresses like porn star Veronica Hart, screen queen Debby Rochon, and Lynn Lowry. Lest we forget Pete Chiarella, aka 42nd Street Pete, who made a career out of writing about Grindhouse and exploitation cinema and being a 42nd Street historian. At the beginning of 42nd Street Memories, you get an ever so brief overview of those Grindhouse theaters and how they came to be, from the 20s to the 60s, how they were once beautiful, majestic theaters that turned into cesspool of piss and jizz. Director Matt Cinder actually got a job as an assistant manager at the Amsterdam Theater.
Actually, I was the manager because the main manager never showed up.
They let us know what the feel of the street was like, what was around it, who actually were the patrons of those theaters, drug addicts, people that wanted a break from the heat and enjoyed the AC, homeless people, sex workers, rats, lots of rats, people doing their laundry, and actual movie fans like director Tom Holland.
I was there as a film fan, they were there to have sex.
For a lot of them, it was the formative part of their movie-going experiences. It's also where their movie career started for directors like Hennenlotter, Lloyd Kaufman, and William Lustig. Lustig has a funny anecdote about his movie Vigilante and what movie they paired it with on a double bill.
Vigilante, in fact, played on 42nd Street and on its second run as the bottom half of a double bill, with the top film being, you ready, E.T. Can you imagine the family that went to see that?
Because that makes total sense. All this is shown through pictures of movie theater marquees taken from regular folks back then, and the Deuce shown in certain movies like Basket Case, The Exterminator, Flesh Found on 42nd Street, and Nightmare. There's no actual footage from inside those theaters. The closest I've seen of that so far is from the Peter Sellers and Sam Elliott action movie Shakedown, released in 1988 and directed by The Exterminator's James Glickenhaus. If you want to see that footage, of course, I did a video on it. The link is in the description. You'll also get the why 42nd Street, as the way it was for decades, ceased to exist by the early 90s. One of the main reasons of its downfall is this fucker right here, who started the process of Disneyfying the street. It was an election promise on his part that he would clean the filth up, and he used the Board of Health to condemn theaters and other shenanigans. But really, the number one thing was home video that was its death knell. Why take the risk of getting stabbed in one of those jizz-filled places when you can be safe in your clean home watching all the filth that you want? It was economical as well. The cost of making a print versus mass manufacturing VHS tapes, I mean, it was a no-brainer. I enjoyed the loose format of 42nd Street Memories and some of the crazy stories being told. At just shy of 80 minutes, it breezes on by. Not the best production value, mind you, but you're here for the stories, and for that it delivers. Especially from people like Hennenlotter, Cohen, Lustig, Kaufman, and 42nd Street Pete.
Everybody said, well, those theaters always smelled like piss. I said, yeah, because guys would buy popcorn, dump the shit out, and piss in the fucking cup rather than go into the men's room.
Obviously, going back in a time machine and experiencing watching a few movies on the Deuce would be something very cool to do, as long as you don't look anyone in the eyes and you don't mind funky smells and unidentified fluids that you're either sitting in or stepping on. They make the experience of seeing a movie in one of those theaters thrilling and a terrible idea all at once, but weirdly, I'd still be into it. There's much more to be told about the history of 42nd Street, but this documentary will have to be added in the old oeuvre of telling its story. You can watch it for free right now on Tubi, and it's available on disc from the 2015 88 Films Blu-ray release of Anthropophagus, and also the Grindhouse releasing of Pieces. So that is a recommendation for 42nd Street Memories, the rise and fall of America's most notorious block. Go visit all my socials at Grindhouse Funhouse in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on 42nd Street Memories. And if you could go back in time to see a movie in a 42nd Street theater, which one would it be? More documentary reviews coming up soon, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll say to you, ciao bye for now.
And he's sitting there taking a pee straight up in the air.